In the race up to turn one, possibly the most crucial race of the day. Who knows? In a few seconds we'll find out. Turn up the volume on your televisions and enjoy the sound. Oh, we've got an aborted start. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Didn't see why. No one I can see raising that. Yes, they're on the right-hand side of your screens. It's one of the Toyotas, I believe, with an arm being waved. And everybody just rolled forward a couple of feet and then stopped again. And that is what you call an anticlimax.
Yes, they were triggered by Raikkonen. Raikkonen had a reaction to a change of the light scenario, but it wasn't the red lights going off to commence the Grand Prix. It was the three flashing orange for the aborted start, and he triggered the right-hand side of the grid, all just knee-jerking down and reacting to follow him down. Michael, calm as ever, didn't move an inch.
So we restart the procedure now, and obviously we check to see why the start was aborted. We do not have that information yet, but we're hoping to get it from race control shortly. In the meantime, they go back into the start procedure.
It's a 5-minute procedure now, where they basically, obviously you can see the mechanics are allowed back onto the racetrack. They put the blankets back on the tyres. It is a Toyota at the back of the field there that was waving his hand. That's a system that came in 12, 15 years ago, where if you can't get away and you can let everybody else know early enough, yellow flags wave from, there's a marshal alongside each line of the grid, and they'll wave a yellow flag, and it's up to the starter, Charlie Whiting, to decide whether it's too late or not. And obviously had plenty of warning on that one and aborted, because many years ago we had a death on the start line and then lots and lots of incidents where cars just smash into the back of one another. And of course that's to get away from that situation where at all possible. But it does mean the Toyota will have to go to the back of the grid for the restart. We'll be back shortly.
Back live at Spielberg in Austria at the A1 ring. We've had an aborted start. Christiano Da Matta stalled his Toyota on the grid at the end of the formation lap, just before they were ready to switch the lights off and go racing. There's pole sitter Michael Schumacher. The new formation lap will commence in about 30 seconds from now.
Yes, they're not allowed to refuel under these conditions, and therefore that formation lap does count as part of the Grand Prix. Another formation lap will take part, and they're going to a new start procedure. Da Matta will be penalised, will be held by a marshal with a yellow flag in front of him, so he cannot move off cleanly now and has to rejoin at the back. And luckily for him, that there's two less people who'll be behind, because we've got Alonso and Webber starting in the pit lane, but a shame for Da Matta nonetheless. And off we go again. The drivers then will have saved a half a lap of fuel. A hot lap uses roughly double the amount of fuel of one of these formation laps. You can see them in the background filing around the Toyota. And now then we go through the same procedure again.
There are Alonso and Webber in the pit lane. Can't quite understand why Alonso is in front of Webber there. Because on grid slots, Webber is in front of Alonso. He's 17th and Alonso is 19th. So that's one for our F1 ITV pit crew to gen us up on. Apparently Juan Montoya is concerned about temperatures sitting around there on the grid after that aborted start. He is concerned that his engine temperatures are getting rather high.
Yes, and obviously we're plugged into Williams closely this weekend, but I'm imagining, James, that all the other teams are in a similar position. They've been sitting on the grid for half a minute. We know, of course, there's no fans on these cars. They're only cooled by the air that's driven through the side pods. And these formation laps are not good for the cooling, and certainly standing on the grid for half a minute, they want to melt very quickly.
The reason we're being told why Alonso's in front on the pit lane exit is because he elected to start from the pit lane before Webber did. Webber made that decision, a later call if you like, so Alonso has precedence coming out of the pit lane. Glad we could tidy that one up for you. Coming round then, this lovely sweeper out of the double left-hander, the second part of the lap here at Spielberg, this famous hill they come rushing down. Martin and I were standing on the outside of this penultimate corner on yesterday morning. It certainly caught our attention, didn't it? The speed that these guys have to commit the cars to the corner, just the way that they drive it, how different it is, because it's such a tricky corner, that penultimate one, isn't it?
Yeah, we've seen a lot of errors there, and I think we'll see a few more in the Grand Prix too. Norbert Haug, boss of Mercedes Motorsport, Jean Todt, pretty much day-to-day boss of the Ferrari team. We've seen him yawning a lot this weekend, James, haven't we? He does work all hours, that man. He's a 12, 15-hour-a-day man minimum.
Yes, he certainly burns the midnight oil, lives in an apartment in a golf club near Maranello, and tends to travel with the team as well, doesn't go use his own jet to go to and from races. Charlie Whiting there, the blue sleeve on your left-hand side of your screen. You saw Bernie Eccleston just going to have a quick word with him a moment ago as well. He is the race director, and he also the official starter for Formula One, so he was the man who made the decision just a second ago to abort that start.
Yes, while the start is automated and there's a random amount of time when the red lights are going to go out, so they're not anticipated on a regular basis, at some point that procedure's got to be commenced, and Charlie physically commences the start procedure. Then it goes fully automatic.
Talk about pressure. 20 highly charged Grand Prix drivers, all wanting to get going, all wanting to get racing, as we all are. Hopefully this time we will. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. We've got another wave, yellow flag at the back of the grid. We're aborting the start again, I'm afraid. It's a Minardi. It's going to be Jos Verstappen, I think, at the back of the grid, and this is becoming a bit of a pantomime.
Come on, boys, get your act together. All you got to do is let go of a button. Surely you can manage that between you. And then we've got Minardi's on the back of the grid anyway. Therefore, if he is on the back of the grid, I'm rather surprised they didn't let the Grand Prix go anyway.
Well, absolutely, but I'm wondering if, in fact, we're saying Minardi, but I wonder if, in fact, it was Da Matta again in the Toyota. We've seen that car this weekend have some weird electronic moments. Certainly the gear change on Saturday morning was doing a lot of things by itself. And I'm just wondering whether there's a problem with Da Matta's car. Yeah, it is Da Matta again, you see. So there's something wrong with that car, and perhaps the race director might choose to ask him to start from the pit lane so that the rest of them could get going this afternoon.
Yeah, tough call there for Charlie Whiting, in that obviously the Toyota was on the back of the grid, so nobody's going to run into it, apart from the medical car maybe. But it's such a short lap here, James, that's the problem. A minute and 9 seconds later, they're going to be back round here again, so it's a question whether they could have cleared him out of the way fast enough.
Let's just talk about the embarrassment factor, because there is going to be one. Twice now Da Matta has caused that start to be aborted. Is he the one who should be embarrassed, or is it Toyota, or should it both?
Yeah, I mean, I'm being hard on them saying let go of the button. Clearly it's a technical problem. I mean, the only time I've known